FedEx guy traveling the world 1 mile at a time. Good morning, everybody. It's FedEx guy here. Beautiful morning of May 14th, Friday morning. It's today's my day off. I'm off on Fridays, and woke up this beautiful day and thought I'd ride a little bit this morning, enjoy it. It's 73.4 degrees here in eastern North Carolina, around the Greenville, North Carolina area. June 14th, which is unusual for this temperature and this time of the year. Normally we are in high humidity and heat by now, and it's absolutely gorgeous to me that we're not. If it would stay like this year round, I would be happy. A little windy this morning, just pulling out of the house. Thought I'd ride and try to make a video. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. I want to first of all, thank everybody that has subscribed lately and helping support my channel. Like I say, I'm new at this, still learning a lot. Really appreciate the support, and for each of you that support me, I'm supporting you back. I love watching your videos, and love watching everybody's diversity. Everybody's different and have a different style. But yeah, just thanks everybody. I think I'm up to 228 now, 228 subscribers. But just want to thank everybody. So what I want to talk about today. So yeah, this is the first time I've been on the bike since my West Virginia trip with my new friends, Michaela 7, C-Bone 77, Moose, and Harley Trek. I had a great time with them guys. I had met Michaela 7 a few weeks earlier, and we rode a little bit. I guess I met the criteria where he would let me ride with him. He invited me to go along to their little West Virginia trip, and I was very thankful, enjoyed it. We had an excellent time, I think. Of course, you guys that's watching my videos, I'm pretty sure you're subscribed to them and have seen most of their videos. Of course, I'm new. I've been really busy. I didn't take as much footage as they did, just from the learning, trying to learn and watch. But I put out a few little videos. I just put one out last night. Of course, I made a little intro, and one of my intro clips was 720p, and it forced my whole video into a 720p format. But nonetheless, it came out, and you can see the video. But anyway, this is the first time I've been on a bike since I got back from West Virginia. We did about 1,600 miles that weekend, Memorial Day weekend. I come home and clean my bike back up, and it's been sitting in the garage. I hadn't even cranked it until this morning, but it fired right up, and she's ready to go, and I'm ready to go. I've just been real busy the last few weeks. Hadn't had time to ride at work and family stuff. But anyway, so what I wanted to do a little video about, I guess, is tell you something that happened to me along the way of that weekend. And I'm not very proud of it, but it is what it is, and I'll get to it. So on my way home, and really I don't think anybody even knows this except for Moose. I think I did tell Moose. So of course all you know that I work for FedEx Freight. FedEx is a great company. I love them. I've been there. July will make me 20 years. And wouldn't change it for the world. However, I did have a little incident happen on the way back from West Virginia trip that has caused me to think that one of their policies is a little ridiculous, but it's a big company. They're trying to protect themselves, I guess, and it is what it is. I'm not really disgruntled about it. I'm a little upset, just the fact that that it is the way it is policy-wise. But anyway, so let me get to it. On the way back from West Virginia, I was 30 miles from getting back home in a little town called LaGrange, North Carolina. It's a 4-lane road, and of course, you probably tell where I'm going with this. It was 70 mile per hour, and then when it comes into the town of LaGrange, it drops down to 45 mile per hour, I think. And then as you're going out, it picks back up to 55 mile per hour, and that's where it stays for quite a while. So as I entered the 45, I slowed down to 45, and I proceeded through the stoplight. And as I was going through, it's a little short 45 zone. I come back out, and it goes to 55. And I was tired, fatigued, had been riding 500 miles, ready to get home. So when I come back into the 55, I went ahead and set my cruise on 62. 62, it was varying from 62 to 63. And yes, I know that's speeding. I normally only run, because of and why I'm getting into this is so with FedEx Freight especially, I have to have a CDL, commercial driver's license, and they hold us to a very high standard of what we can do and get away with, state-wise, federal-wise, and company-wise. So anyway, I had my cruise on 62. It was varying 62, 63. And, of course, with a Harley, you ride with a cruise, you don't have to put your hand on it. But as I was going out of this town, I happened to be passing by a co-worker's home that was out in the yard. And so I threw my hand up like that and kind of did the exhaust to him like that. Well, he waved back, and I don't know if you can see my hand, but as we were passing his house, the road is at a slight angle up, and then it crested down. Well, when I come off of that crescent, I was kind of still watching toward his side of the road there. And when I looked back in front of me, I was the first vehicle, and it was 4 lanes, so 2 lanes on the right. I was the first vehicle in the right lane. I had 2 cars behind me that were pretty close on me. And I had a car in my left lane that I had been watching in the mirror the whole time that was gaining speed on me. Well, particular the screen that I had it on, when I crested the hill was the screen that you can see now. I don't know if you can see it. So it gives you your speed. And like I say, I have been looking down. I have been running 62, 63. And, when I crested the hill and saw him, of course, what's your first instinct when you see a highway patrolman? He was sitting in the median, is I kind of tapped the brake just to release the cruise. But when I looked down, I guess where I had made the pipe sound to my buddy, I looked down, I was running 66. And I thought, oh, this ain't good. But the car to my left, when I looked at it, you could see the front of his car had dove down too. And I'm sure of what happened, but, you can't prove it. So anyway, so I went and I did my friendly way, because I really respect police officers. I'm not one to speed. When I say that, I'm not one to excessively speed. I normally, if it's 55, I usually set my cruise at 61. So I'm a 5 to 6 mile an hour over the speed limit is what I normally run. And I have not had a ticket of any kind in 17 years, which I think is pretty awesome. So we passed this cop, and I throw my hand out and look in my mirror immediately, and I see him. He's coming out behind me, or coming out on the road. And so I had 2 thoughts in my mind. I was, first of all, thinking, I hope he didn't get me at 66, and I hope he picked this other car up beside me instead of me, because I know they were running faster than I was. And so I went ahead and immediately let off the gas to let him do what he was going to do. And the car to my left stayed in the left lane. Well, when he come out, watch this car here, a little mini car there. So anyway, he immediately pulled in behind me, and I thought, shit. I said, he's got me. And so I eased on up a little bit, and not very far, until I found a nice flatter spot to pull off the side of the road. And if you've seen in my videos or noticed before, I carry my pistol, right here. I always carry my 380 up on the dash. And so my first thing was, before he ever got off the car, I immediately shut the bike down, got off of the bike, and proceeded to take I got off the bike and lifted my visor and held my hands out where he could see them. And he exited the car. He got, you could tell he was young. I'm guessing, well, I know how old he is now, but he was young, 23-year-old, pretty much straight out of trooper school. And I knew as soon as his first words out of his mouth, I could tell that there was no reasoning with this guy, which is fine. He's just doing his job. I understand they got a job. So he immediately, my first words out of my mouth were, his first words out of his mouth were, I need to get back on my bike. And then I proceeded to tell him, I understand, sir, I got off the bike with my hands in the air. I got off the bike because I have an open carry pistol on my dash, and I wanted you to know it firsthand. That's why I didn't want to be on the bike. And he said, okay, stand to the side. So I need to slow down here for this 35 here. Talking about speed, and I'm coming in hot. All right, so he walked over to the bike, took the pistol off the dash. I did tell him I normally do, but at the time, I don't know why, I didn't when I left that morning, so I didn't have it chambered. So I told him there wasn't one in the chamber. And he took the pistol and he put it in his back pocket or something. And at this time, I'm a little nervous, but I mean, I'm 40-some years old. I knew I had done wrong, but I mean, I knew it wasn't no need to be nervous. It is what it is. So I went ahead and started telling him that I know I was speeding, and I very much apologize, and that I hadn't had a ticket in 17 years, and I work for a company, FedEx Freight, and that they require, the most highest uphold the laws, and I apologize. I was just trying to be as nice as I could, hoping that he would cut me as much slack as possible. And so he didn't really say a whole lot. He proceeded to tell me to sit back on my bike until he returned. And I watched him in the mirror. He went back to his car, and he would stay gone probably, 8 or 10 minutes maybe. And he come back. He had a white sheet of paper in his hand. He handed me the paper, and he said, I wrote you a ticket for 70 in a 55. And he said, I clocked you at 76 and 73. He said, but I'm going to write you for 70 and a 55. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, there's no way in hell you clock me at 76 or 73. I know my speedometer is correct. I check it not daily, but quite often. I just check it just to be safe. So I'm 99.9% sure he clocked the car that was to my left. And I did mention to him, like I say, I already knew I couldn't reason with him. I did mention to him that the car beside me had been coming up, gaining faster than I was, and I'm pretty sure he clocked that car, and he didn't even respond. So I took this ticket, and he handed me, well, actually, he didn't hand me. He had the gun he took the clip out of the gun. He had the clip under the metal holster clip, and he laid it on my dash, and then asked me to step away about 3 feet from the motorcycle, and told me that I could just pay the fine. Of course, that's what they always say. I didn't have to go to court. I could just pay the fine, which was $280-some, I think, court cost and the ticket, and I would be fine. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's not going to be fine, but yeah, whatever. So he said, I need you to stand here about 3 feet from the bike until I get in my car and I am out of sight before you get back on your bike. I didn't argue with him. I did so, and what's done is done. So I get on the bike, and our policy is, well, I thought what our policy was, which has changed. I found out it's changed now, but our policy used to be as soon as you are ticketed of any kind with FedEx Freight, you must report it to supervision. So I got on my bike and proceeded to head on home, aggravated, mad, disappointed in myself, a little bit of everything. Called my boss. He happened to answer. Like I said, it was on Monday, Memorial Day, so I wasn't even sure if he'd answer, but I called. He did, explained the situation. He said, okay, we'll talk about it Monday. We'll do whatever we need to do. I need to get some gas. So anyway, at this point, I don't really know what I'm going to do, how bad it is, for work. I know 70 to 55 is not good. And I started on Tuesday morning going ahead and trying to figure out what I need to do. I've got actually have some friends in the law enforcement. Actually, they're state troopers in different counties. I called a couple of them. They gave me some tips. Called another friend that was just retired as the assistant DA in the county I live in. See if she knew anybody who could make a call. And pretty much all the information they were giving me were, with my record, that they could basically, hopefully with no issues, depending county to county, should be able to reduce it from 70 to 55 to a improper equipment, which improper equipment carries no driver's points, no license points, no anything basically. It's just saying that, your speedometer may have been off, and, they'll let you get away with a one-time improper equipment. I was thinking, great, that sounds awesome. So I come to work the next day, and I proceeded to tell my manager that, and he said, that sounds great. He said, I'm gonna check with our driving manager, corporate manager, and run this by him and just make sure that everything's good. Well, I'm glad he did, because which the news I got back from him was not what I wanted to hear. But he proceeded to tell me that they informed him that I did not need to have it changed from 70 to 55 to improper equipment. And my first thoughts was, why not? And then he proceeded to say that the FedEx policy is that if you get a ticket of a serious offense, which serious offenses could be multiple offenses, 15 mile per hour or above the speed limit, careless and reckless, running stop school bus, passing on double yellow lines, all those are considered in the CDL, commercial driver's license world, serious offenses. He said if you get your ticket, now this is just company. Well, at first they made it sound like it was a federal law. They said that if you have it reduced to anything other than speeding, we still charge you, or you'll still be charged with the original ticket. And I said, so what does that mean in FedEx world? Mainly was what I was concerned about, because I want to protect my job. But so I said, what does that mean? And basically, if you get charged with a serious offense, which is a serious driving offense, you go under a 36-month review with FedEx, meaning if I get another serious offense within that 36 months, I'm basically jobless, lose my job, or lose my driving privileges. And I definitely do not want that. I need to support my family. FedEx has done a great job of that. So, I didn't understand why, and they made it sound like it was state law or federal law. So then I said, well, I might need an attorney. So I called an attorney. Attorney calls me back and told him the situation, who I worked for, and what they had told me. Well, the attorney said he had never heard such a thing. And I said, well, are you sure? And he said, I specialize in CDL tickets, driver tickets. He said, and I've had thousands of cases similar to yours, and I've never heard tell of that. If you have it reduced to improper equipment, that they charge you with the original ticket. He said, I do know that CDL holders are not applicable or eligible for prayer for judgments. And I didn't know that either. So learned something new every day. But he said, I've never heard tell of that they'll charge you with the original offense. So I said, well, let me call my safety guy back. So I went above my manager's head and I called straight to the safety. And they told me that basically the same thing, but then I found out that it wasn't that the state and the federal wouldn't charge me. It was a FedEx rule or policy that if I had got a serious offense, that I could not have the ticket reduced to any other offense other than speeding. However, I could have the speeding reduced from 15 miles per hour, anything less than 15 miles per hour, and they would then not hit me with the 36-month review. Meaning that if I got it dropped to just 69 miles per hour, that would take it out of the serious offense, and that I could then, it would just be a small offense on my record, which we can have 5 of those. So I still didn't understand why FedEx wanted to punish me for something that I could get pretty much completely out of. I mean, in my left hand, I can have the lawyer take and do away with the ticket completely. Well, not completely, either completely. Even if I could get it thrown out of court, they said I still couldn't do that. But the only way I could get it dismissed was if there was 0 fines, meaning no court cost, no driving school fees. So I can't even get it dismissed without still getting charged on FedEx's side with the original 70 and a 55, which puts me in a 36-month review. And then I cannot get it to change to improper equipment because of the same reason. But yet they will change it from one speeding offense to a lower speeding offense, and then I'm not hit with the 36-month review. I understand all that, but what I don't understand is to me in my eyes, it looks like FedEx is trying to hit me with, it's like they're trying to punish you. And I know I was speeding, but I truthfully wasn't speeding as fast as I was charged with. But I've still got to suffer the consequences regardless. So in short terms, I'm basically getting hit with FedEx for something that I really wasn't convicted of. And I'm not gonna harp on it. I actually get aggravated thinking about it again. But it is just, to me, it just seems a silly policy. It doesn't seem right. But in FedEx's eyes, they want to keep the best drivers that they can, the safest drivers that they can, and I totally understand that. So anyway, hindsight 20/20, do not speed. So at this point, what I have done, my court date's not till July 22nd. I have hired the attorney, and I am still nothing definitely decided, but it looks like the only option I have is to pray that a lawyer can get me, he's going to shoot for getting them to reduce it to, I think, 60 and a 55, If not 60, he feels pretty sure he can get 64 in a 55. If I can get it 64 or below, it won't affect my insurance because I don't have any other tickets, and they'll waiver that one ticket unless I get another ticket in 36 months. However, I do get driver's points. I think it's 3. Not happy about that. I was really trying to keep a clean record. So right now, like I say, it's in the lawyer's hands. We're shooting for a 60 and a 55. Worst case, hopefully a 64 and a 55. And it is what it is. So anyway, that's a little bit of story. This video may be a little long, but I wanted to just tell my story, and maybe it might help some of you guys. I know it's helped me realize that I know a lot of times when you're on motorcycles, it's very easy to get in the groove and speed a little bit. I know we think it's harmless, and it most time it is, but laws are laws. We have to follow them, and we have to keep everybody happy, especially if you have jobs that require your driver's license. So it is definitely nerve-wracking sometimes, but it is what it is. So anyway, it is again June 14th. Beautiful day. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And I'm going to cut you guys off from this, and I'll make another video later. Thank you for following. Thank you for your support. Enjoy your weekend. This FedEx guy, we're gone.